Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It's time for your sustainability update with our sustainability specialist friend and so much more. Phil Groupie, welcome back. How you doing, bud?
Hi, great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. While
Happy May.
it is Happy May, and I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
while I'm sitting here in the studio, you're like sitting in the where I would want to be is, sitting in those nice flowers, prairie, and just relaxing, listening to the wind blow, watching the bees do their thing.
This is definitely where I am right now. I'm 100% in this prairie with the clouds not moving. Yeah.
Ouch, I just got stung by a bee.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. I've got a bunny coming to say hi. I'll be right with you.
Nevertheless, Phil, something that kicks off each and every May, folks hear about it each and every year. We've talked about it here before as well. Is about the mowing, whether no mow
Yeah.
May, relaxing on the mowing pieces. What are our plans this year, and or how can you take part in just overall?
Overall, boy, I'll try to keep this high level. I can really go in deep on almost any topic, as you know, and I want to save some time for other things. In 2023, we did a no mow May pilot, and the next couple of years we had resolutions for low mow May that passed through council. We didn't do that this year. Um, so the whole goal of no mow May, and this was an initiative that was started over in the UK. And the idea is to give pollinators a head start in the spring as they're emerging from kind of underground from hibernation. One, to make sure that you're leaving as many flowers as possible for those early pollinators, but two, a lot of these invertebrates that are coming up out of the ground, they're coming up through your lawn. They're coming up out of the soil, and when you're mowing your lawn, that obviously presents a survival hazard to those little critters. Um, what we end up seeing in the US in a lot of places that adopt just no mow May is that what happens is a lot of just grass grows, which fine, but grass doesn't have a lot of ecological value. So if we're thinking about helping local species, the grass itself isn't doing much there. And a lot of the flowers that are in lawns are things like dandelion and creeping Charlie, which are they're non-native, and so those aren't really the most beneficial things for those native species anyway. If we're talking about pollen, certainly you'll still see people with no mow May signs around their yards. If we have a few in City Hall, if you'd like to grab one and pick it up to kind of promote that, that's something that can be done. Um, what we're what we're trying to shift to is spend a little bit more time thinking about how do we promote native plantings and native landscaping rather than just 1 month of the year where you don't mow. The most beneficial thing you can really do is convert some of your lawn space to whether it's a low mow or no mow prairie, like putting various sedges or native grasses that don't need to be mowed at all, or if you can actually convert to native landscaping and have bushes and shrubs and flowers that are native to this area that did co-evolve, co-adapt with a lot of these pollinating species, and that's something that's much more beneficial to not the European honeybees that we're used to seeing. Those are kind of the glamorous sort of the poster child of pollination around here, but those native bees and bumblebees and butterflies that are looking for places to feed, to lay their eggs for caterpillar habitat, things like that. So yeah, we haven't been as actively promoting the low mow May this year, but have been putting more stuff on our website and are looking to do more promotion of just kind of native plantings in general.
Yeah, there's a lot of great resources out there for the native planting. Each spring, we talked about this earlier about the native plant sales, and
Hmm.
kind of starting to really add that to your lawns and to the area. So I mean, certainly there's great resources there, and we'll check back in with you on those. We have to spend a whole day talking about that one for sure. All right, Phil. We also had the spring recycling event, and you have the results from folks again turning out once again to keeping electronics out of the landfill and
That's right.
recycling that paper confidentially.
That's right. Very confidential. You want to give a drum roll, or we've got this was a really big event this year. It kind of felt like the event technically started at 8 o'clock. We had people lining up at 7:30, and it sort of felt like we never had a break until it was over at 11. That bears out in the data. I would say if you go back the last 9 years or so since we started collecting this data, we've been averaging around 11,000 pounds of electronics, and we hit that almost right on the nose. We got just north of 10,000 pounds which is more than we've had in the past 2 years since the spring of 24. So really healthy haul with electronics. Paper, even more so. We average about 7,600 pounds of paper shredded going back to 2017. Average 7,600. We had 11,000 pounds of paper collected.
Wow.
It was a very popular event this year. Hope to build on that again in the fall, but yeah, we were busy.
Way to go, Fitchburg. That's
Way to go,
incredible
Fitchburg.
numbers. Right, exactly. And don't fret, there's a fall recycling event right around the corner.
That's
So if
right.
you still got more to deal with, doing it well. I mean, just pretty impressive, Phil, overall that, again, more people are choosing to recycle it instead of putting it out into the landfills, which, again, as we know, it's just doesn't end well if you're trying to have
Yeah.
something electronic decompose in soil. It just doesn't sound right.
Well, and certainly a shout of appreciation to everybody who was patiently waiting in those lines, understanding this is the responsible thing to do. And we had some people who were waiting, 20, 25 minutes to get this taken care of, and they didn't cut and run. They followed through. They saw it through to the end, and we really appreciate that dedication from the community.
And the
That's what,
volunteers too, right? We had lots
yeah,
of volunteers helping
absolutely.
out as well. So it takes
Yep.
it takes a village. We like to say that a lot around here, but
Yeah,
again,
we had the mayor, we had a couple of alders participate, we had several members from the Resource Conservation Commission, plus a couple staff. So yeah, really, really strong participation. That is going to provide the impetus for us to just keep doing this. It clearly is proof that this is a needed and a appreciated event.
all right, Phil. Next area we turn to is lead certification. Some
That's right.
information coming in, and tell us about this process and what it means.
Yeah. So for folks who aren't familiar, there is, or if you're just vaguely familiar, there's a building certification system called LEED, and that's LEED. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And this is a certification that's about 25, 30 years old. And it's essentially, uh, you can get a third party, this is the US Green Building Council, to verify different elements of your building's construction, energy efficiency, renewable energy, site selection, water use, things like that to make sure that it's as environmentally and community responsible as possible. Um, about 10 years ago, they added a new level of certification. So it started with just building new construction. They added an interior design. They added building operations. The most recent addition that they've had is LEED for cities. So there is a LEED for cities certification that looks at you as a whole, building design, energy use, water use, stormwater, materials recovery and recycling and waste management, quality of life, healthy economy, all these different kinds of things. Um, so we have two neighbors that have already gone through this process. Middleton and Sun Prairie both participated every year for the past few years. U.S. Green Building Council has worked with funding from Bank of America to have a 1 year cohort of communities who get free technical assistance and go through this process. And at the end of the year, they certify in the LEED rating system. So Middleton did that a few years ago. They're now rated gold. Sun Prairie did the cohort last year. I don't believe they've submitted their application yet, but that should be coming shortly. This year, Fitchburg was accepted to participate in the 2026 LEED for Cities cohort. So just kicked that process off last month, and I'll be meeting internally with some staff soon to talk about, where we think we are, which credits do we want to apply for, who's going to be in charge of what documentation. It's a pretty hefty process. Because we did a lot of data collection to underpin the sustainability plan a couple years ago. A lot of that data can be reused for this, so I'm really excited about that timing overlap. But late this year or early next year, we'll be applying for LEED certification for the city of Fitchburg, and really excited to kick this process off.
Fantastic. Well, we'll continue to get updates here from you on your monthly updates, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah,
Maybe tying a little bit into this is our annual energy report. You're getting close to wrapping that up as well.
that's
What
right.
does it look like for 2025 as we look back?
Yeah, so I do every year throughout the year. I monitor energy use. I kind of try to make sure that facilities, city facilities, and operations are kind of trending in line with what we're used to seeing. And if anything looks way out of whack, then we can have some internal discussions about what might be going on. I also track our renewable energy use as a municipality. The past couple years, kind of kicked off by that sustainability plan again. Started collecting broader community level data too from utilities, and it's not obviously not like identifiable information, just like for the whole residential community in Fitchburg, how much energy is being used, for the whole commercial industrial, how much energy is being used. So I'm getting to the end of that report, and it's mostly an internal report, but these numbers are kind of fun. The city of Fitchburg, we have goals from our 2019 clean energy resolution to have 30% of our electricity coming from renewable sources by 2030. Sorry, is that right? No, 25% by 2025, and then 100% by 2030. So we're well past that 2025 goal. We're at 42% last year of our electricity was coming from renewable sources. Um, the goal to get to 100% by 2030 is, we're still not quite at 50%, so we got a lot of progress still to get there, and we'll have conversations about what that's going to look like. But we're at over 40% renewable electricity for the municipality right now. In terms of fossil fuel emission reductions, we wanted to be at 30% lower per capita fossil fuel emissions by 2030 compared to our 2018 baseline. Looking to be at 30% by 2030, we're already at a 22% reduction in municipal emissions, and that's looking at buildings, facilities, operations, services. So that's and the fleet as well. So really excited about that we're over a 20% fossil fuel intensity reduction. For the broader community, looking back to 2018 as well, and part of our clean energy resolution was also helping the broader community to achieve similar fossil fuel emissions reductions. All of Fitchburg is using 19% lower fossil fuel per capita in 2025 than in 2018. So it's not just the municipality. We've seen a lot of progress citywide that we're really excited about. Large part of that comes from the fact that the broader Fitchburg community is at 28% renewable electricity. And that's a combination of a lot of that's coming from utilities, where the two primary utilities serving Fitchburg are Alliance and Madison Gas and Electric, and they're both well over 20% renewable in their electric grid right now that's delivered to the public. But there's also a lot of rooftop solar, a lot of solar that individual businesses and homes have been installing. And so we can't, we don't have individual data on that, but we at least get, utilities know generally what sort of capacity of solar is installed behind meters on their grid. And so we can kind of make some estimates from there. But, we're approaching 30% of the electricity in Fitchburg that's being used is renewable. So that's also really, really exciting.
That's incredible numbers, actually. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very encouraging, and certainly the resources are out there, more available each and every year to get more renewable energy in many different ways.
hmm And
Including
we're
in
certainly
city
expecting
infrastructure.
we're expecting maybe a little bit of a slowdown because of the loss of some federal credits in the past year or so. But at the same time, the cost of solar has dropped so dramatically that if you can, you can still find credits through things like Focus on Energy, and there are some other avenues for getting assistance with the initial installation. But if you can bear that upfront cost, it's paying itself off in generally 10 years or less, and it the installation cost is lower than it basically has ever been. And of course, once it's installed, the cost of the electricity is zero. The sun shines for free. Um, so it's not just that there's been a lot of progress; it's that we expect that to continue accelerating just because it's become so much more cost effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. We'll look forward to seeing the report when it comes out and talk about some more highlights in there, but appreciate the work on that. Really quick, going to sneak in that it is Bike Month. A lot of
It
activities
is.
going on around the area. I just saw a biker go behind you. So tell us just real quick, it's your time to get your biking on now. I mean, it's all the time, but now, go.
All the time, especially now. Get on your bike. It is Bike Month right now. At the end of the month, we're going to have Wisconsin Bike Week. So there's stuff just going on constantly. Earlier this week, we had the monthly Ride for Joe event that the Senior Center hosts in honor of Joe Emilkowski, a former Bike Fitchburg and Bicycle Committee member. We also had a Learn to Ride, a B-Cycle Learn to Ride sponsored by the Round Trip Madison B-Cycle, worked with Bike Fitchburg and city staff and the Senior Center to put on this event. May 15 is a bike to work with the mayor. And so that's going to be if you show up at McKee Farms Park at about 7 a.m. on May 15th, there will be a ride from basically the McKee Farms Park B-Cycle station right into City Hall at about 7:15. And then there will be awards given to Fitchburg's newest bicycle-friendly businesses. May 22nd, this is an event I actually just heard about yesterday at the Bike and Pedestrian Commission, a Bike You're Brought to Work. day. So this is sponsored by Ceres Equipment. So if you meet at the Southwest Path Bridge, just south of the Beltline, at 5 a.m., you can get two brat bucks, courtesy of Ceres. So there's a 10-mile roll to Willow Island and kind of a group breakfast. And this looks like a fun thing. I'm mostly just learning about this from Bike Fitchburg. There's a ton of information on Bike Fitchburg's website about the various events going on right now. They're doing a lot of good promotion. But then we've also got, as I mentioned, May 31 to June 7 is Wisconsin Bike Week. So just search online for Wisconsin Bike Week. There are commuter stations and other events set up all across the Fitchburg and Madison area. The most notable one to mention here is that Bike Fitchburg hosts a Fitchburg commuter station, and that'll be at the Velo Underground, the bike roundabout, from 7 to 9 a.m. on June 2nd. There will be, I believe, other stations in Fitchburg as well. We usually have some around the Badger State Trail. So check out the Madison Bike Week website for information on that. And then the last thing towards the end of that week is there's a Draft Picks brewery ride, and that's a bike tour of our local breweries. So Great Dane, Delta, and Hop House. That's going to be June 6th at 10 a.m. So a ton of great bike events, far more than what I've mentioned, but a few of the highlights.
Yeah, great time to get biking and checking things out. So very excited to see everybody out on the bike trails again this year. And don't forget, Bike the Bird. I mean, it's a way to like collect all those miles
Oh,
and earn some
absolutely, Bike the
prizes
Berg.
and
Yep.
the whole thing. So certainly great resources out there. Phil, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it as always. And you can check out the Green Newsletter or e-newsletter on our website, fitchburgwi.gov. Phil, we'll see you next month in another prairie somewhere else.
I look forward to it.